Let's stop creating busy and then blame busy for our busyness. How do we do that? By learning the skill of slowing down. This is the Homesteading for Beginners podcast, and I'm Mona Weathers, your homesteading mentor and coach. I'm here to encourage you to pursue your homesteading dreams with the right mindset in a way that is healthy for you, your family, and your community. If you desire to establish a solid foundation for your homesteading journey, then you are in the right place. Join me as I share stories from the past 20 years of my own journey, as well as practical and actionable steps you can take to start and maintain a healthy homestead. Welcome to episode 12 of the podcast. Today I will be talking about the skill of slowing down. This may not seem like a skill to some people, but listen to this podcast to learn why I think it's a skill. So bread making, cheese making, beekeeping, animal husbandry, and cooking, they're all things that people recognize as skills, right? If you've noticed, though, I've been talking and sharing on this podcast about skills that not many people talk about in the homesteading space, but that are just as important or even more important, and they have to do with mindset. Foundational mindset skills like pivoting, pressing on, and positivity, in what the episode I shared a couple weeks back, they will not only set you up for success, but will also grow your character in positive ways. If you take these mindset skills seriously and make them a part of your life, growth is inevitable. In the world we live in today, learning how to unplug and slow down is a skill. It's definitely a skill, especially with the younger generation coming up. We are constantly bombarded with information. Think about all the content that you've seen or heard or watched just today or just in the last hour maybe. This is not something people just 30, 40, 50 years even had to deal with. I don't know the full effects of being bombarded with information, content, and all that will do to us long term, but I can see what it's doing to us now. So this may not be you. Maybe you are really good at slowing down and unplugging and not being connected. And maybe this is not you. Maybe I'm not talking to you, but I know that you at least know people close to you where this is an issue. But there are a lot of people out there that need to learn to slow down and not have to be stimulated by technology. So the skill of slowing down actually has to do with actively removing yourself from stimulants and intentionally resting. Rest is vital to productivity. I learned this over the years. If I don't rest, I usually am very unproductive, or I'm just running around trying to get a bunch of things done, and I may get some stuff done, but it never feels like I actually did very much. And I think that has to do with the rest time that we have in between, that we allow for ourselves in between the productivity times. When you envision the homesteading lifestyle or the homesteading life that you're living right now, is part of the picture that you envisioned you racing around trying to get all the stuff done on the farm? Like, is that part of your dream life? Like you just being kind of in chaos and hurry and busy? Or is it having a pace that matches nature, where there's time, where time is not your enemy and you have more time to relax and you're more of a relaxed person? Are you envisioning rest and calm, or are you envisioning busy and hurry? If you're envisioning rest and calm, then you must intentionally set up your life to create that. It doesn't just happen anymore. Because the alternative is you wish for rest and calm, but you create busy and hurry because you didn't actually learn how to slow down. Here's a real world example from my own homesteading journey. So about 10 years ago, I was a mom with 3 kids. We had dairy goats, we had horses, chickens, turkeys, ducks, chucker, dogs, cats, and a couple of gardens. I had like a couple of garden spaces. And I was homeschooling, I was farm sitting on the side, I was cleaning houses on the side, and cooking most of my food from scratch. I mean, just thinking about this list of things that I did back then makes me feel very busy. Just thinking about it, it exhausts me. But the thing about it is, I think back to that time, and I think, why did I take on so much? No one made me add all these things to my life. But once they were a part of my homesteading life, I felt responsible and that it was mine to keep, and I had to keep the new addition, even if it overwhelmed me. I actually remember saying things like, well, I have to go out and feed the chickens anyway. What's a few more? Like, that was kind of my mindset. Like, what's a few more? Well, what's a few more got me into a lot of trouble because I kept doing that. I didn't just stop. I just kept saying, well, I'm just adding this little bit on. I felt in my mind, I had a good reason for adding these new responsibilities to my plate. But what it really did was cause a lot of stress. As a mom, I had enough things to do without adding all these farm things to my plate. Instead of living a life of rest and calm, I was creating busy and hurry. If your answer has ever been to the question, how's it going? If somebody asks you, how's it going? And you say, oh, it's busy. It's just really busy right now. Maybe you can relate to what I'm saying because if you actually assessed what was making you busy and why you wanted to give that as an answer, you might realize that some of the busyness that you have is self-created. You put that on yourself. You didn't actually need to add that. And I think, everything is individual. So some people feel like they're doing it for their children or they're doing it for their spouse, and then that's worth the busyness. So I'm not going to say your busyness is wrong. That is not what this message is. But I have a theory about most of our busyness. I think we create it and then blame it when we don't have enough time for other stuff. Let's stop creating busy and then blame busy for our busyness. How do we do that? By learning the skill of slowing down. As homesteaders, we are creating a life close to nature. This is part of the appeal of the lifestyle for many people. But have you ever noticed how much nature gets done in a day? Yet we call it calm and relaxing to be around it. Our homesteading journey should resemble this calm and consistent rhythm. I'm not saying we'll never be busy. We'll never have busy times during our journey. In fact, count on it. It will happen. But don't add things to your plate that don't need to be there. In the long run, it will be better for you to choose less and become really good at adding things only when you feel it won't create overwhelm. And if you're in this place of overwhelm right now, don't be afraid to downsize. Downsizing doesn't mean you failed in any way. It means you've recognized your capacity and you're protecting your energy. For me, I ended up downsizing at the point when I was just overwhelmed and had so many things. I remember once I did do this actually. I added mealworms to my plate. And I don't mean my physical plate, but mealworms are really good. If you don't know, mealworms are really good for chickens. They're a good supplement for chicken feed. And they're actually easy to raise. But I didn't need to add that to my plate. And I added mealworms, and they never really grew they never took off. And so I could throw out some a little bit of mealworms here and there to the chickens, but it never was anything that great. So I just spent all that time learning how to raise mealworms where I didn't need to, and I could have saved that energy for other things. I did not need to add that. I kind of did that the same with a couple other things, like actually worms for worm composting, although I think that's a really great way to invest. But I didn't give it all of my energy because I didn't have enough energy. I had spread myself so thin in other places. I didn't really have time to add worms. So recognizing when you're adding too much and understanding you don't need to do all the things. You really don't need to. Pick some things that you feel most passionate about right now. Learn them really well and then slowly add things. And don't forget your community. Your community can make it so that you can have the things that your farm doesn't. By trading, by buying from other people. You don't have to be so self-sufficient that it's really almost impossible to be completely self-sufficient these days. You really do need to count on other people. You should be, in my opinion, counting on other people for some of the things that you want and need. That is good. Being a part of a community makes you stronger. It doesn't make you less sufficient. It makes you a completely sufficient person if you have good community around you. So to recap, make time for rest. Make resting part of your life on a regular basis. Unplug from technology as much as you can, but if you can't, just pick one day. Like Sundays is my day where I don't at least get on like social media and stuff. I use my phone, but it's for different reasons. Don't create busy and then blame busy for your busyness. And learn how to match the rhythm of nature, because nature gets things done. Nature also rests, by the way. So I'm not sure if it'll be episode 13 or a future episode, but I'm going to be working on some series, and we're going to start talking about some of the things that you can create, get you started, like actual things like certain animals, certain gardens methods, and those sorts of things that are good for beginners. I just wanted to start this podcast with some of the mindset things, because those are the things that'll actually, you'll be able to do anything if you have the right mindset. In any journey, that always makes you stronger. So that is why I covered all of these topics, these previous episodes where I'm talking about mindset, because this will really set you up really nicely. And then we're going to get into some other things. I'm hoping to have some guests on at some point. Maybe, I'm not sure if it'll be people who are really good at what they do, or if it'll be questions from other homesteaders, beginner homesteaders that want to know how to do things. If you have a specific question about how to get started on your journey, or if you have a specific question about what to choose, what to start with your homesteading space, wherever you are, whether you're in an apartment or on land, I would love to help you work through that and help answer that question for you. You can use my Pod Inbox account. It's podinbox.com/Mona. And you can record your question, and I will, more than likely have it on the podcast and answer your question here. I just wanted to make sure that you know that I'm available for you in that way. So be sure to utilize the Pod Inbox if you have questions. Also, I have my Homesteading for Beginners community that is live, and we're already getting started, but it's okay if you come later. If you're hearing this in the future and you think it's too late to join, it is not too late to join, because the way I'm going to set up the community is that we're going to go through the Homesteading for Beginners workbook, but it'll be in a way that new people coming in can just go through it as well. We're going to have a live next Wednesday where we're going to talk about dream boards. And if you've heard my past episodes, I talk about the importance of dreaming and visualizing and that sort of thing. So this will be a live within my platform, and you'll be able to ask questions if you'd like. But we're going to it's called a dream board party. So I hope to see you there. Just go to the show notes in your app and you'll be able to see a link. Fill out that form in the link that it takes you to, and then you'll be sent an email with a 1 month free subscription to my community. And you'll be able to get enough a good amount of information within that month if you just choose to stay for the free time, but you're also welcome to stay longer. So check out the link in my description or show notes, and you'll be able to find it there. Okay, that's it for today. I'm so thankful that you're here listening again. I'll be back next week, and I hope you have a wonderful week. If you are enjoying this podcast, I would really appreciate it if you would take a minute to subscribe or follow. By doing this, you will be helping the podcast to be seen by more people, and I do love reading nice reviews too. Don't forget to visit healthyhomesteading.com for more information on how I can serve you. Until next week, I want you to keep dreaming, keep believing, and keep planning for your homesteading success.